Hola amigos, soy Anthony. Hoy nos une mi esposa de Ucrania. Ella es extranjera, acaba de venir a los Estados Unidos.
Hola, yo soy Antonina.
Ella cuando llegó a este país no hablaba casi nada de inglés, pero después de 6, 7 meses de vivir en Estados Unidos, ahora su nivel se ha mejorado. He notado que su nivel de inglés ha mejorado bastante y ahora puede comunicarse en inglés y entiende a mis hermanos cuando ellos hablan inglés. Y hoy quiero analizar cómo ella aprendió inglés, cómo ella hizo esto para que ustedes también puedan aprender inglés. Okay, so how did you learn English? Because you came to the United States almost a year ago, less than a year ago, and you didn't speak English very well. You spoke English, but it was very difficult for you to communicate, to understand. But now you understand me almost 100% of the time, and you understand my brothers, and my brothers speak very quickly. So how did you do this?
When I came, I didn't understand your brothers because they are speaking really fast for me, and it was really difficult to understand. But now I understand they maybe 80% is better than 6 months ago, of course, but it's because I have English lessons maybe 2 times on week, and I just sometimes I watched video, maybe a serial on Netflix, and sometimes we go to movie, to the cinema, and I think it's helped me too.
I remember when we went to the cinema for the first time. This was when she just arrived to the United States, like a couple weeks after she arrived. We went to the cinema, and every minute she asked me to translate everything with the movie, what was happening in the movie. She wanted me to translate it to her in Russian. But now, almost never. She just watches the movie and she understands almost everything in less than a year. That's really impressive. That's really quick progress. I'm an English teacher, and I teach English to foreign students mainly from Russia and Ukraine. And it takes them years to reach this level of progress. But she did it very quickly because she is surrounded by English. And you don't only have to live in the United States to do this. You can do this in your country. You can watch movies every day. You can read. You can surround yourself with the English language, and that way you can reach such goals. What was the most difficult thing for you when you were learning English? Was it the pronunciation, the grammar?
For me, it's more difficult is grammar, of course, because sometimes I am confused about how I can use. For example, I have been cooking cakes. It's because it was in past, but is continue now, and it was a little difficult for me. But now I understand this, but and I have problem with grammar too. But it's only if I learning with my teacher grammar. If I speak, I don't think about this, about grammar, no. But if I learn with teacher, yes.
Yeah, so when you speak, you don't think and try to translate everything in your head. You just start to speak, yeah?
Yes.
And I have the same thing with Russian. When I was learning Russian in the beginning, I was translating everything in my head, but now I just speak right away. I don't think that this is something you can do consciously. For example, you can practice. I think it's just a matter of time, in my opinion. I think that if you are patient and you study the language and you practice speaking, listening, over time, naturally you will begin to speak without even thinking. That's just a natural thing that happens. It happened to me when I was learning French. It happened to me when I was learning Russian, and it's happening to me now that I'm learning German. It's just, as someone who has learned many languages, I noticed that it's all the same. It starts off very difficult. It's hard to understand people. It's hard to express yourself, and then it becomes more natural. And for you, as someone who doesn't speak English, do you feel that It depends on the person who speaks English, or do you understand people the same, or does it depend on age? Does it depend on where they're from? Maybe British Americans or Americans? I mean, British English speakers or Americans. Is there a difference for you?
Okay. For example, British and American accent, of course, is different, but I understand. I understand British people, but for me it's more comfortable if I listen American accent, of course, because I'm living here and for me it's typical to listen like every day. But it's okay if British accent, and if old person, like old man or old woman speaking with me, it's normal, but of course it depends from person, because for example Tony, when he spoke with me I understood him, but his brother no. His brother I didn't understand, and it's yes.
Yeah, so guys, I'm really impressed with her English, and I am sure that if you feel that you are not progressing in English, just understand that you can do it, because she can do it, and anybody can learn English. Anybody can learn any language. It doesn't matter if you don't have money, if you don't live in the United States or don't live in a country where they speak English, if you live in a small village, if you live in a big city. Of course, if you live in the United States, it's easier to meet people who speak English than in a small town in Peru or in Colombia, of course. But now we live in the modern age where there's technology, and you can do this every day. You can watch something in English, you can read something in English. I've said this many times because it's really important. So I want you to do this. And yeah, so I just wanted to introduce you to my wife and her story, how she learned English. And hopefully that motivates you to improve your English, guys.
And of course, more important is speaking English. You can find new friends from America, from England, and you can practice with them, because not everybody, but some people, they want to learn your language. For example, me, maybe in autumn I will learn Spanish because it's interesting for me, and you can find new friends.
Yeah, we're gonna be in Mexico in the summer and in the autumn, and maybe next year we're gonna travel to Colombia together. And so she's learning Spanish, she's learning a little bit of Spanish, and I think in autumn she's gonna focus more on learning Spanish, because she really likes speaking Spanish and Mexican, Colombian, Latin American people, right?
Yes, it's interesting for me.
Alright. Entonces, amigos, muchas gracias por ver este video. Espero que esto es una buena motivación para aprender y mejorar inglés. Si quieres ver más videos sobre el aprendizaje de inglés y mis consejos cómo mejorar tu inglés, entonces presiona en este video aquí, haga clic en este video aquí, suscríbete al canal y nos vemos en el próximo video. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.
Hasta luego.